Have you ever heard of someone traveling 120 kilometers just to buy coconut oil? Sounds surprising, right? Well, today I'm going to share one of my favorite stories from this entire naturist journey. And this is Coconut Oil Stories episode number 4. So this story happened around a year ago at our outlet shop in Thrissur. It was evening around 8:30 and we were going to close down the shop for the day. We had already locked up the shop, and that's when I saw someone walking towards us. A young man came up and asked, in the most humble tone ever, I know I am late, but is there any chance I could get 5 bottles of coconut oil? And honestly, we were surprised because nobody would come in that late to buy coconut oil. But we told him, yes, of course, don't worry about the timing. And then one of our team member who was standing nearby went inside the store to reopen it and get the product. While we waited for him to return, I started a small casual conversation with the customer. And midway through the small talk, I asked him, Hey, where are you from? And I genuinely thought he would say some places nearby, like Thrissur town or Colliery. But to my surprise, he said he's coming from Kozhikode. And I was like, wait, what? Kozhikode? That's like 120 kilometers from here. And then he smiled and said, Yeah, I came all the way just to buy your coconut oil. I have been using it for a while now and I didn't want to go back without it. And that moment left me speechless. So naturally, I asked him the next question. Is there any special reason why you came all the way just to buy our coconut oil? Like, what is the motive behind this journey? And by then, the products came and I hand over to him. But we stayed there for some more time to share our stories and everything. And that's when he opened up and shared his story. He is actually an IT professional in Dubai and he has been there for the past 7 years. And during the COVID lockdown, like many of us, he was also stuck at home. And that's how he started to watch YouTube videos and learned how to cook. At first, it was just a time pass, but slowly cooking became his hobby and eventually turned into his passion. Because of his newly formed interest, he began experimenting with different dishes, especially Kerala recipes, and eventually he started preparing weekend meals from his apartment and selling them to other Malayali families living in the same building. And within a few months, he sort of became the local chef in his apartment, and everybody loved his food. But he didn't stop there. He got really obsessed with the quality of the ingredients and wanted to take his food game to the next level. For that, he would go in searching of the best spices, the best rice grains, and the most authentic ingredients he could find. And that's when one of his friends from Thrissur told about us, the Naturish coconut oil. And luckily for him, a few months later, he had to come to Thrissur for some personal work. And during that visit, he came to our outlet and picked up a coconut oil bottle. Once he got back to Kozhikode, he cooked a few Kerala style curries for his family using our coconut oil. And he told me that he was honestly surprised by the flavor and the aroma. Not just him, his entire family noticed the difference. Everyone loved the flavor it brought to the food. Because of this experience, just a few days before he was going back to Dubai, he came to our shop and bought 4 bottles of coconut oil to take it along with him to Dubai. Back in Dubai, he used our coconut oil to cook for his apartment community. And in his own words, even before serving the food, I could tell that the aroma had the true Kerala feel. Everyone who tasted it said the dishes felt like home. That feedback gave him more motivation to follow his passion than ever. So the next time he came back to Kerala, he didn't just bought 1 or 2 coconut oil from us. He bought an entire carton of Naturish coconut oil. He told me that even his customers in Dubai outside the apartment circle could taste the difference. Now here's the best part. When I met him at that store that day, it was his 4th time visiting us. But it was the first time I got to know him in person. Then we spoke for a while and eventually he shared his dream of starting a small Kerala restaurant in Dubai. His plan is a restaurant with a short menu with just 8 dishes, all authentic Kerala recipes made with pure coconut oil. And right now he's working on the legal side of the business. And he told me that by early 2026 he will be able to launch the restaurant in Dubai. But what made me really happy is that he asked me When will Naturish export to Dubai? I want to use your coconut oil in my restaurant. That hit me hard because for us, it's just not about selling product, but about becoming a part of people's story. I told him that we do have all the necessary certification and it's just a matter of time before we ship internationally. And while we were so much enjoying sharing our stories, it was really getting late and he had to travel 120 kilometers back, right? So by 10:30, we had to stop the conversation. But even today, we still keep in touch. He messages me about how his restaurant planning is going on and I update him about our export progress. And honestly, it is stories like these that keep us going. This is the reason why we started Naturish. To make something so pure that someone would travel across districts or even continents to buy from us. And this is Rishi from Naturish, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.